Paul Heyman just walked away from the Vision. No storyline explosion, no pull-apart brawl, no pyro. Just Paul Heyman turning his back and leaving. And if you know anything about this business, you know that's actually scarier than a full-blown implosion. Because when Heyman gets loud, it's a work, it's a story, it's the wise man doing his job. But when Heyman gets quiet, when he says one cold sentence and walks off camera without looking back, that's when you know something real might be happening underneath the storyline. So what actually happened on Raw this week? Why did Paul Heyman seemingly cut ties with the group he built? And is this the end of the Vision as we know it? Stick with me, because to understand exactly why this is happening right now and where it could be going, we've got to rewind and look at everything that's been building to this moment. Trust me, once you see the full picture, it's going to make a lot more sense. Let's set the scene. This week's Raw comes off the back of the Vision reclaiming the World Tag Team Championships. On paper, that's a win. That's a celebration. That's the kind of night where a group like this should be riding high. But backstage, the mood was anything but celebratory. Here's the thing you need to remember. The Vision hasn't exactly had a smooth 2026. This faction has been absolutely gutted by injuries all year. Bronson Reed's been out, Logan Paul's been out, Braun Breaker's been banged up. For a group that was built on dominance, on looking unstoppable, they've spent most of this year looking anything but. And in the middle of all that chaos, Austin Theory stepped up. He kept the group afloat. He was revealed as the mystery attacker earlier this year, which, by the way, reportedly did not sit well with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed behind the scenes. Multiple reports say those two were not thrilled about Theory getting folded into the group, but Heyman backed him anyway. So you've already got cracks. You've already got tension. This is not a faction that's been rock solid. Now, add another layer. Brock Lesnar returned on the June 29th episode of Raw. And when Brock Lesnar shows up, Heyman's attention shifts. That's just how it works. Heyman's been locked in on building toward a Lesnar and Obafemi collision at SummerSlam, which means, realistically, Heyman's focus has been split for weeks. The Vision has not had the wise man fully in their corner. Not really, not the way they used to. And then last week, a new piece got added to the board. Maxxine Dupri officially joined the Vision. She helped them win back those World Tag Team Championships. She turned heel to do it, and she made an immediate impact. So heading into this week's Raw, you've got a faction that just won gold, but is also running on fumes. Injuries, internal friction, a leader whose attention is being pulled toward the biggest heavyweight showdown of the summer, and a brand new addition who just proved she might be more valuable than anyone expected. That is the powder keg. That's the exact moment Paul Heyman decided to strike a match. Backstage, after the celebration, Austin Theory approached Heyman to thank him. He assumed the praise was for the group, for all of them, for the win they just pulled off together. Heyman shut that down immediately. He made it painfully clear his praise wasn't for the Vision, it was for Maxxine Dupri. Only Maxxine Dupri, because of what she did to help them win earlier in the night.
And then he delivered the line that's got the entire wrestling internet buzzing right now. He basically asked the group what exactly they even needed him for anymore, since Maxxine had been the one who was magnificent. And then he walked off. No group hug, no great job, boys, just a gut punch and an exit. Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and the rest of the group were left standing there, stunned, confused, watching the man who built this faction essentially question why he's still involved with it. Quick pause here. If you're new to the channel and you're into this kind of deep dive breakdown of what's really going on backstage in wrestling, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. We break down stuff like this multiple times a week, and trust me, you don't want to miss the next update on this story. Okay, back to it, because it gets even juicier. WWE's own social team leaned into this hard. They put out a post asking fans directly whether Maxxine Dupri is an asset to the group or a replacement. Read that again. WWE itself is planting the seed that Maxxine might not just be joining the Vision, she might be taking someone's spot in it. And according to Fightful Select, by way of WrestleVotes Radio, this isn't just a one-off dramatic segment. Creative is reportedly divided on where the Vision goes from here. Some people in that writer's room think this faction has run its course. Others want to keep it alive, just in a different form, a revamped version, new pieces, new direction. But here's the detail that really jumps out. Even if the Vision, as we know it, fades away completely, The word going around is that WWE still wants to keep Paul Heyman attached to Braun Breaker specifically. Breaker's still positioned as the guy on the rise, the powerhouse they're building towards something bigger with. So even in a world where the Vision dies, Heyman and Breaker might not. That's a massive clue. Sit with that for a second. So now let's get into it. What is actually going on here? Is Paul Heyman really done with the Vision, or is this something bigger? According to the backstage buzzing, this segment was not just a random heel moment for shock value. This was a message, a very calculated, very Heyman message. Here's reason number one why this makes total sense from a storytelling perspective. Paul Heyman does not attach himself to losers. Ever. Go back through his entire career. Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Heyman gravitates toward whoever is the hottest act in the room. And right now, with Reed and Logan Paul banged up, with Theory holding the group together almost by himself, and with Breaker still fighting to reach his ceiling, the Vision, as a unit, isn't the hottest thing in wrestling anymore. Maxxine Dupri, on the other hand, she's fresh. She's a new toy. She just delivered results the second she walked in the door. If you're Paul Heyman and you're a character obsessed with backing winners, that shift in loyalty makes perfect sense.
Reason number two. This sets up a genuinely fascinating breakup story. Think about it. If Heyman fully exits the Vision and takes Maxxine with him, or even just Breaker, you're not looking at a faction quietly fading into irrelevance. You're looking at a full-blown, personal, backstage civil war. Theory, Logan Paul, and Reed left behind, betrayed by the very man who built them into champions. That is a storyline with teeth. That's not just group breaks up. That's group gets abandoned by its own architect while he goes and builds something new with someone else. That is a heat magnet. And reason number three, and honestly the one that's got dirt sheets buzzing the most, if WWE Creative really is split on whether the Vision survives at all, this segment could be the very first domino. According to what's being reported, the plan may not be to kill Heyman's involvement in the group completely. It may be to reposition him, keep him attached to Breaker, since he's viewed as the long-term piece worth protecting, while slowly peeling away from Theory, Logan Paul, and Reed. If that's the plan, then what we saw this week wasn't Heyman quitting the Vision. It was Heyman starting to quietly dismantle it from the inside, one relationship at a time. And if Creative pulls the trigger on that, picture it. Weeks from now, Heyman standing next to Braun Breaker, maybe with Maxxine Dupri in tow, while Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and Bronson Reed are left holding a faction name with no leader and no direction. That is a visual that writes itself. That's the kind of slow burn heel turn that fans end up talking about for months. Now, could this all just be a one-week angle to build tension before the Vision comes back stronger than ever? Sure, WWE has done that before. Sometimes the "we don't need him" moment is just there to make the eventual reunion hit harder. Heyman comes back in a few weeks, the group proves they can win without leaning on him, and suddenly he's fighting to stay relevant to his own creation. That's also a story. That's also compelling television. But given everything we just walked through, the injuries, the internal tension over Theory, Heyman's attention being pulled toward Lesnar and Femi, Maxxine's instant impact, and WWE's own social team practically begging fans to ask if she's a replacement, this feels like more than a one-week angle. This feels like the start of something. So here's where I land on it. I don't think Paul Heyman is done with wrestling's biggest stages. Not even close. I think Paul Heyman might be done with this version of the Vision. And if that's the case, the real story isn't who he's leaving. It's who he's about to align with next. So that's where things stand right now. Paul Heyman delivered one of the coldest, quietest exits we've seen from him in a long time, and the wrestling world is still trying to figure out exactly what it means. Is this the beginning of the end for the Vision? Is Maxxine Dupri about to become Heyman's new top priority? Or is Braun Breaker the real reason behind all of this, with Heyman setting up a singles run we're all going to be talking about heading into the fall? Before you go, if this breakdown helped connect the dots for you, do me a favor and smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed yet with notifications on, now's the time, because this Vision story is about to move fast and I don't want you missing a single update. Now I want to hear from you.
Drop a comment below and tell me straight up, do you think Paul Heyman is actually done with the Vision, or is this just misdirection before the group comes back stronger? And while you're down there, who do you think Heyman aligns with next, Maxxine Dupri or Braun Breaker? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.